And Marin, I invite you to, whether you're in the sanctuary or whether you're in the sanctuary connected through your home to here, I invite you to give yourself this time to take a long, slow, deep breath and be present right in this moment. Just notice your feet on the floor or wherever your feet are resting, and notice that you are being held by Mother Earth through the gentle force of gravity, which actually is support for you. And as you're giving yourself long, slow, deep breaths, you can be aware of letting go of everything but the awareness of being aware. And you might be aware of that from a place slightly above your head or behind your eyes or maybe behind your heart. But however you do that, just be aware of that space of quiet stillness. It might look like a flame to you or a little golden drop of energy, but just let that space be. And notice that you can be within that space of stillness and just observing, being aware that you are aware in this moment. And that creates spaciousness. And everything else can kind of drop away. Being aware of that space of stillness allows you to be the eye in the storm no matter what is happening around you. And in this moment of silence and spaciousness, know that that spaciousness and stillness is connected to the great I am, that which gives everything. So in this moment, allow yourself to go within and simply be presence in the silence. Notice that your awareness of being aware is a profound space, a quiet stillness that you can own and be present with and connect with divinity in each moment of your life. May this still meditation carry you forth through the whole week. And those of you who would like more support too, please know that we have prayer chaplains available. And those of you online, you can connect with them through the messaging. May you have a blessed week, and so it is.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We have so many things to be celebrating today, so lots of energy in the room. I'm Reverend Deanne Morency. I'm the senior minister here at Unity in Marin. And for those who know me, you know I've been navigating some health challenges. I think they figured it out. So I'm feeling much, much better, as I'm sure you can tell, which is an amazing thing. So aside from that, we're a community that is anchored in love, anchored in possibility, anchored in our capacity to see and to know each other and understand each other as our greatest, who we are as our greatest, how we show up in the world as our highest self. And that can be challenging sometimes. Anybody challenged in that arena? Find yourself not showing up as your highest self? My wife can attest. And in the midst of that, we get to come together and we get to see each other and we get to remind each other. Like, yeah, we may have our human foibles and yeah, we have our stuff, but at the root of who we are love, we are light. And we're here to shine that light as brightly as we possibly can. And so we come together in Sangha, we come together to hold each other in the challenges and in our celebrations. And we have both today to sort of highlight. So Ron, it's like the horses, Corral, made his transition the other day, and some of you may remember him. And as we get more information about the celebration of life and what that will be, we will make sure to let the community know. So just knowing that we're holding him and his family and all of them in so much love and so much light. There's a lot in this world right now that's triggering grief. That's like an understatement of the century, right? But here at Unity, we know that we get to come together and we get to hold each other through those challenges. We get to hold each other through the grief. We get to hold each other through when the wind seems to be coming at us rather than at our backs. And we bring spiritual principle to those rather what can be very challenging times. And so right now, the invitation is going to be to just be here. Be here. If you can let go of whatever might have been going on in the world and in your life and whatever it took to get here. And, you know, we have a lot of people who are watching us online right now. As I say every week, we have more people who watch us online than who attend in person. So I want everyone to turn around right now, and I want us to wave to the people online and say, good morning, or whenever it is that they're watching us. The gifts of technology. I'm going to invite the Soul Sisters to come on up. We have a song that's designed to center us first right here, then with each other, and then in the larger world.
Please join us. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, Spirit is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us, and there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, Spirit is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, Spirit is in this very room.
And so as we center ourselves in the prayer field and we light our candle, we're lighting a candle for peace. We're lighting a candle for possibility. We're lighting a candle for this beautiful community, for this beautiful state, for this beautiful country, for this world. So I invite you to just quiet a little bit more, welcoming the stillness at the very center of our being. I'm going to invite the prayer chaplains to rise. I'm going to invite Trish to come forward with the prayer box. And I'm going to invite anyone who understands themselves as anchoring consciousness in the world to feel free to join the prayer chaplains as we encircle this room. But it's a room in consciousness, so it enfolds and holds everyone. How good it is to just be here, right now, fully allowing the breath to breathe us, allowing life to live us. The invitation is to surrender into the truth of who we actually are. So we bless all the humanness, but we center ourselves in that divine identity, knowing ourselves as light, as love, as beauty, as harmony, as peace, that deep wellspring of peace. And as I know that this is the truth of my life, I know it is the truth of all of our lives, and I bless this time together as we, as a sacred Sangha, say yes to that infinite potential that is always seeking to reveal itself through us, as us, for us, and that us is everyone, a world that works for everyone. As we create this sacred container that is love, I invite each of us right now to just place into this container the people, the situations, whatever you're carrying in your heart into this container. So I'm placing Beth and Michelle. I'm placing Judith and Ellen. I'm placing anyone who is feeling lost and alone right now. I invite you to speak those names, those situations aloud if you wish. Place yourselves there. Don't forget you. Place this community there, this beautiful community, Unity in Marin. And I invite you to see and know the truth of each of those people, of each of those situations. That no matter how challenging, no matter how hard, whether it's loneliness or lack or not enough or unworthiness, whether it's unsure about what's going on in the world right now, the fear, the injustice, I just invite us to see truth, to know that love is present in all circumstances. That where there is loneliness, there is always the possibility of connection. Where there is scarcity, there is always the possibility of abundance. Where there is health challenges, there is always healing available. And where there is transformation occurring, that all of that is always working for us. Nothing is against us. And so I invite you to see all of us able to pivot and to be creative and inventive, to see our intuition and our wisdom online and activated as we truly create a world that is in service to everyone. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. I'm going to invite Gabrielle Javier to come on up. She's going to be doing a reading from our Lent booklet. It's our last reading before Easter on Sunday. Woo! You can still get copies of them. They're in the lobby. There's some in the seat backs in front of you.
Testing. Good morning. Today's inspirational reading is from Unity's Lent booklet, Release and Reimagine. I invite you at this time to let these words become part of your morning reflection, your morning meditation, or prayer. In this moment, I invite you to take a deep breath and a pause, to close your eyes if you wish. I invite you to let these words become your words. The affirmation for today is, on this day of Lent, I release negative thinking. The spiritual principle that our thinking shapes our reality can be both empowering and daunting. It's powerful to know we have agency over thoughts and therefore feelings. But exercising that agency can be a challenge when busy minds scamper down rabbit holes we didn't realize existed in our consciousness. It doesn't help that marketers and media bombard us with negativity and messages of lack. Negative thoughts act as mental barriers, blocking the natural flow of abundance, health, and joy. Holding on to fear, resentment, or self-doubt energetically separates us from our true spiritual nature and power. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore encouraged us not to let our intellect, quote, take us out among the limited ideas of the world. The act of release is sacred, requiring surrender, trust, and faith in something greater than our ego mind. Releasing negativity creates space for divine grace to flow. Our intuition sharpens and our hearts open. Once again, the affirmation for today is, on this day of Lent, I release negative thinking. Please know this with me. On this day of Lent, I release negative thinking.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's my honor and privilege to be here today with you and with all you fabulous folks joining us online. Please join me in stating our vision. A world spiritually awakened and transformed through realizing our divine potential. Unity Marin's mission. We are a loving community dedicated to spiritual growth, inclusivity, and service. We honor and care for ourselves, each other, and the natural world. And our core values: connectivity, living in an awareness of unity with all, inclusivity, cultivating a safe space to celebrate diversity and value the uniqueness of every person, authenticity, being true to ourselves, our values, and spirit. And guess what? We're all part of the welcome team. And that's something that I am trying to work on. If I see someone maybe I don't really know or can't recall their name, I'll try to go up to them and welcome them, and make sure that they feel like they are part of our community, whether they're a member or not. Spiritual connection card, I left it on my seat, which doesn't help. Anyway, it is in your bulletin, and you can go ahead and fill that out. Reverend Deanne does see each and every one of these. So if you have a prayer request or a comment or concern, please fill that out and then drop it in the basket as it's going around, the collection basket. It helps us all to stay connected. Today's flower sponsor is Unity in Marin.
All right. So we had some fun earlier this week. We're here today to talk about, the hardships and the celebrations. We are celebrating Chad and Gabrielle's marriage. So the two of you come on up here. We have a blessing we're going to do for you. So it was my honor to get to officiate their wedding out on Mount Tam. It was so beautiful on the bluffs. They both looked fabulous. These are beautiful photos. If you're out there on the bluffs often, you know that it's usually Fog City. It was so clear. It was incredible. It was the perfect day. So we have a blessing that we do here at Unity, and we want to do that blessing. So I'm going to invite everybody to stand up if you can. We're going to extend our hands and our hearts, and we're going to say this to these two beautiful beings. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ as you. And so it is. Mazel tov. Yeah, I know. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? Yay! Are you next? You're next.
We're doing a tag team.
We're doing tag team.
Okay. And I'm honored to be on the same platform as you, Reverend Deanne. Okay. Hospitality and flower sponsorship. You can sign up with Charcel in the courtyard. Our artist and collector of this week is Pablo Valera, who is the architect of this beautiful space that we are in today.
Be here. So where is he? Oh, there he is. Pablo, just wave. Just wave. We love you. So each week we like to honor people who have been in sacred service. And if you were here for the annual meeting last week, you know that we have a mighty, mighty board team. So I want to just honor that team. So first off, we're welcoming our newest board members, Vicki Clark and Jen Kelly, have both said yes. We are celebrating and lifting up the board members who are continuing, which is Pete Abowd, Barbara Cochran, James Henry, Tom McCullough, and the incredible president, chair of our board, that meeting, the way she ran that meeting, woo! Lynn Seaver-Forsey, so if we can give them some love. And then we're also thanking Lucille, Nancy, and Monica as they leave the board. So if you are any of those people, please stand up so we can give you some love. So it was a really powerful meeting. And there's... Oh, and me? Right, I'm on the board too. I forget these things. I forget these things. So we had a really powerful meeting, yes, if you were there. We shared some of the challenges that are happening right now with HMS because California did an amazing thing, and they are accepting 4-year-olds into public school, which is amazing. And what it's done is brought enrollment down in all preschools throughout California, like dramatically. And preschools are closing all over the state, and they're scrambling to try to come up with solutions for this. But at the moment, we are down in enrollment by 50%. So that hits us in a lot of different areas, right? So what arose out of that meeting, which I have to say how much I love this community, is sort of the next phase, which is very community-oriented, which is going to be unity in action. And it's our empowered, prayerful response to this time of change. Okay, that's what we are calling in. And so what's arose out of the conversations I've already been having with so many of you is 4 areas, and that doesn't mean these are just the only 4 areas, but they're the first 4 areas that have emerged to date, which is that we need a leadership circle. We need the people who are interested in being the coordination, working closely with the board. They could be members of the board, right? Facilitating and sort of overseeing what this is, unity in action. And then what has come up are the reimagining circles, which is where we're going to vision and discern what's next. The fundraising team, which is rallying our resources and creativity for our community. And then preschool outreach team, so that we can get the word out into Novato that we even exist. There's a big generational gap with people even knowing that Hamilton, that this is an area. When I went to the wedding expo, none of the brides knew about us, but their parents did, right? The mother of the bride knew, but the younger generation did not know. And they're the ones having kids. So we need to work on our outreach. We need to work on those pieces. So I've already had some people say they're going to step up, right? Jim Walsh has said he's stepping up. Vicki Clark, Jen Kelly, Santon. There are people who have said, like, I'm in. So we need to get some sort of structure in place. So this is going to be, I was torn between unity in action or community in action, right? Because this is about us as a community showing up at this time. So there will be signups outside, there will be signups online, so please, pick a place where your gifts and talents can show up. There is no talent that you have that we won't be able to use, yes? It's true, and the more energy we can create around this, I just want to say, we have found a toddler teacher. Okay? Now that is because the community, so this is one of the things that I've been talking about in the talks, sharing the journey. We shared the journey, sharing the challenges, and somehow in that, all the energy began to shift, and we have a toddler teacher who Cindy loves. Okay, so this is important. This is why we come together. We don't even necessarily know how the transformation is going to happen, but we have to step into it together, holding it prayerfully, holding infinite possibility, holding and being willing to open it up and say, what else is possible here that we have never thought about before? Are we all in? Yes. Because remember, I'm going on sabbatical. I will not be here, which I think is awesome, actually. It is, because this community has always been in charge of this organization, always. This has always been community-led. And so this is the beautiful opportunity for the community to just come together and really take empowerment, right? This is our year of empowerment. And then I will come back from my sabbatical, and we will be all ready to I will have more energy. Get ready, folks. And we will all be ready to sort of move in a new direction. Yes? Okay. If you have any questions, talk to me, talk to the board, right? Any questions at all, but let's just start to I want to keep the momentum going. Yes? We want to keep the momentum moving forward, right? All right. Fabulous. So we have some fabulous guest musicians with us today, Amy D. and Dylan Votto, who you may know them as Heart Matter, right? With an S? No, Heart Matter. I had it right. Heart Matter. They have been here with us before, so can we please give some applause, some welcome to them as they come on up.
Ooh, I'm on. Good morning, and thank you so much for having us back. Yes. We're going to start with an original song of ours that is all about being in the present moment and as a human being, recognizing that there's so much that goes on that has nothing to do with us. This is called The Sweetness of Life. The sweet nectar of right here and right now, bubbling in the cool air and under my tongue, a honey sensation. Ooh. Fluttering wings brush past my ears, darting from branches to blossoms, the blink of an eye, I dare to keep time. Sweet as it is, yet fleeting, just out of my sight. Can I sit still with the sweetness of life? The fine fragrance of a young jasmine vine, telling the secret of hiding away until spring. Take me by surprise. Someone listening with a Cheshire smile, sneaking around every corner or basking in sun. Don't mind my passing by. Sweet as it is, yet fleeting, just out of my sight. Can I sit still with the sweetness of life? Always a song in the air when the is on high. Molecules dancing through leaves remind me I'm alive. What is this rushing and waiting for something to happen when everything's happening just fine? Can I sit still? Can I be here? Should I keep time? Or am I alive? Can I sit still? Can I be here? Should I keep time? Or am I alive? Can I sit still? Can I be here? Should I keep time? Or am I alive? With the sweetness, with the sweetness, with the sweetness, with the sweetness, with the sweetness of life.
Thank you. Oh, can we? It's a night, it's like a release, right? And you feel how you just kind of go, ah. What if that's how we move through life? Right? What if that's the way we move through life? And that's a big part of what we're looking at during our year of empowerment. Because when we talk about empowerment in unity, what we're talking about is being able to access all of the spiritual capacities that are our birthright. Nothing that we have to become. Isn't that a relief? You're already it. No striving, none of that. You're already this beautiful, magnificent being of light. And our invitation is always to sort of just let the blocks fall away so that we shine even more. And that's what we mean by empowering ourselves. And when we empower ourselves like that, we're not just empowering ourselves, we're empowering everyone. So we're in our final week of our book study. Has this been a really powerful experience? I've been hearing really good things about the small groups that have been happening. So this last week is about being open. Being open, because there's this balance that we have to that we're invited to navigate when we're talking about manifesting the life that we are called to live into more fully. We need to hold intention, right? We need to focus our mind. We need to be clear about shifting our consciousness. We need to take those concrete steps. We need to make sure that we're sharing our journey, because when we're doing things in a vacuum, it just becomes a very closed loop. And there is great wisdom that gets imparted when we sort of slam up against each other, as uncomfortable as that might be. And then this last piece, which is like in the midst of all that focus of our mind and taking concrete steps, we have to also be open. We also have to be open to the unexpected. We have to be open to what we don't see. We have to be open to what is actually revealing itself for us, because we get attached to specific outcomes. Anybody in here ever experienced that? If it doesn't look like this, then it's wrong. It's not good. It's not. Okay, so we have to be willing to let go of that, right? We want to always be able to sit in the sweetness and stay open to that there's infinite potential for manifesting our dreams. And the dream that we have today is not the dream you're going to have tomorrow. Take a breath on that one, right? Don't even get attached to the dream. If I was attached to my dream from 20 years ago, I'd still be pounding the boards, right? Auditioning and going to casting calls and living a certain kind of life that actually wasn't fulfilling me. I was fulfilled when I was on stage, but I was not fulfilled in every other part of it. And so, by opening up what it might mean, by going deeper into the essence of what my dream was, not the way it was going to show up, all of a sudden, this entire new trajectory showed up in my life. And it actually is completely in alignment with what drove me to be an actor, which was about sharing stories and touching lives and opening up perspectives on what else is possible in the world. Does that sound like what I'm doing now? The essence is the same, but the trappings of it all is very, very different. But that happened because I allowed myself to become open to something. So it means that we have to really be willing to examine the limiting beliefs that we have. And that can be hard because we're attached to our limiting beliefs. We think that they're us. They think that they define us, right? My family was X, and therefore I am Y. That's a limiting belief. I have always been X, therefore I will always be Y. That's a limiting belief. Ernest Holmes used to say, your past is not your precedent. Just because it was does not mean that it has to continue to be. So we want to be willing to challenge those patterns of thinking. We want to be willing to adapt and to adopt new ways of being. And that can be terrifying because it means change. It means the unknown. It means stepping out somewhere that is unfamiliar. But it is precisely in the unfamiliar where our greatest joy resides, where our greatest sense of fulfillment resides. So we have to be willing to let go of all those preconceptions that we have. If I don't have X, then that means Y, right? If I don't do this, then that means this. We have to be willing to let go of all of those preconceptions. And that's inviting us to surrender up some control. If we're insisting that abundance has to arrive in a specific way, we are restricting everything in our life. Can you feel the truth of that? The only way I feel abundant is, then all of a sudden we've narrowed everything down to just one thing. So we gotta not be so rigid. We gotta not be so stuck. We gotta not be so, sometimes our steadfastness, our strength, so this is how our powers can be out of balance. If our strength is so rooted in what was, then it makes pivoting really hard, right? Which is the power of order. So we always want to look at how our powers might be a little overdeveloped in some areas so that we can develop other powers, right? Our other capacities to balance them together. Remember, how Unity understands how the 12 powers work is that when they are in harmony and balance, it is the revelation of the Christ consciousness, the Buddha consciousness, the Atman. That is all of that. When that's all aligned, we get to show up in a completely different way. So we got to loosen our grip. You know what you're holding on to. You know what you have a tight grip on in your world. What happens if we just loosen the grip and see what else is possible? Because what most of us have forgotten to do is how to play and how to have fun. When we loosen our grip, we're able to have fun. We're able to sort of bring back that sort of childhood, that freedom that our children have. My godchild Roma had a dance recital. It was adorable yesterday. And as we're waiting to go in to see it, this little girl comes walking by, full-on princess ensemble, with like wand and everything. And so a couple of us were like, "That's a beautiful dress." And she just sort of looked at us. Just kept going. Like, I don't care what you think about me. I am wearing my outfit, and this is who I am. She had no interest in the adult approval of what she was doing. She was very sure in her own sense of self. So when we're having fun, doesn't everything get lighter? Everything just feels a little bit easier. So my invitation this week is just think about where things have gotten tight and tense and a little bearing down on things, and how can you loosen your grip? How can you have fun with it? Right? How can you begin to shift what that energy is? Because fun is a magnet for abundance. The more fun you're having, the more fun shows up. Right? The more joy you bring to the world and to your life, the more joy comes in to your world and into your life. And as I said at the beginning, there's this paradox that we're being invited into. Because, we're a teaching that believes in seeing infinite possibility and infinite potential, and we know the truth of who we are, and we're here to show up as it. Yes? That's who we are. Oftentimes, that understanding of our spiritual principle is used as a spiritual bypass so that we don't pay attention to what is. We're not willing to really navigate what is. We're so caught up in I don't like this, and so I'm not going to see this. I'm going to only see something beyond it, that we don't deal with what is. But our teaching allows us to actually, the point of our teaching is to say, this is what reality feels like right now, but I know there's more to it, but I can't bypass what reality feels like. I can't ignore what reality feels like, because that's a lie. I'm not operating from my most authentic, integrated self if I'm not actually dealing with what is. And so while surrender might feel like giving up, I'm not talking about surrender like waving the white flag, right? That's not what we're talking about when we talk about surrender. We're not saying surrender into negative circumstances and just give up all hope. That is not what unity means by surrender. What we mean by surrender is look at the fact that things are hard right now, and how am I being invited to change so that I can navigate what is with greater grace, with more love, with more capacity of who I know myself to truly be. Can you feel the difference? So when we talk about surrender, it's not just let it all go. It's, no, I'm going to access something about who I know I am that perhaps I never accessed before. Can we all agree that there are parts of ourselves that we have never fully explored? That we have capacities and abilities that we have never actually completely and totally brought to the fore? That's what we're here to do. To just keep growing and growing and growing. Doesn't that sound like fun? Right? So we want to work with reality, not against it. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? Because manifestation is happening in time and in space. So if we want to manifest in time and space, we got to work with time and space. Does that make sense to everybody? So one of the ways we can do this is by what we call exploring the opposite, right? Exploring the opposite. So in order to challenge our basic assumptions, which we sometimes can't get out of, we're just so locked into a perspective that we cannot shift. We cannot move that needle. I know I'm right. Ever have that? I know I'm right. I know they're wrong. I know it. And so by exploring the opposite, we're inviting ourselves to practice something that invites us to grow and have flexibility and access different spiritual capacities within ourselves. That is always what we're seeking to become and to be in time and in space. So the greatest work for this is Byron Katie's The Work. Do people know Byron Katie's The Work? Yeah. Her simple 4 questions. Is it true? Now, usually when we're really hooked on something, we're like, yes, it is. Right? And then we ask ourselves, can you absolutely know it's true? And maybe there's a crack there. Well, it feels true, but can I absolutely know it's true? Already we're starting to open up to something, right? How do you react when you believe that thought? Oy. Right? When I believe that thought, right? I don't feel good, I feel small, I feel disempowered, right? All of those things. Who would you be without that thought? Oh, how would I be without that thought if I didn't believe that thought? So the example Ken uses in the book is when he and JD were looking to adopt their second child. And they had adopted a teenager. They were looking to adopt an infant. And they were going through all these different processes, and they were working with a private adoption company at first, and they spent a lot of money. And they spent a lot of time supporting this birth mother. And only to find out, as they got close to the 9-month mark, that she had several families supporting her. And that the whole thing was basically not going to happen because she really never had any intention of giving up the baby. So Ken called me devastated, right? Just devastated. Feeling taken advantage of, feeling like the adoption process was very unfair, right? And that whole situation was just unfair. And also feeling really kind of foolish that they had given all this time and energy and money to someone who took advantage of them. And I said to him, the good you give in the world is never wasted. The good you give into the world is never wasted. So while they might not have been the ones who got to actually reap the good, that money supported that child that they might never have, they're not going to call their own, but is there good in the world because that child actually had support that it needed? So this is the place where in the turnaround, you have 3 options in the Byron Katie turnaround. So the first is the direct opposite, right? So it's the opposite of the original thought. So Ken's original thought is that this entire adoption process is unfair and that it's never going to happen. So the turnaround becomes the adoption process is fair and full of opportunities. Hard to process when you're caught up in your story, but if you can open to that, can you see how there's possibility all of a sudden? Is it true? Is it really, really true? What if it's not true? Who would I be without that thought? I would believe that the adoption process is fair and full of opportunities. Which way do you want to live in the world? Reverse self-reference. So replace the subject with yourself. So instead of the adoption process is unfair and creating obstacles, I am unfair to myself and create obstacles in this process. And was he being unfair to himself? Yeah. He was feeling foolish. He was feeling like he shouldn't have been scammed. He was beating himself up for believing, right? Is that fair? No. And was all of that creating obstacles to this process continuing? Because they were shutting down in their pain, and right? They were just creating obstacles for them to be able to continue forward. And then reverse others. So include a larger audience or others that are involved. The adoption process is about serving the child's best interest, not just mine. Now, can you see how by exploring the opposite, all of a sudden, all these other possibilities come up besides the narrative that we get fixated on, right? And the beauty is that Ken and JD did all this work. And he was blogging about it, because that's Ken, right? Whew, everything's out there. And so he's blogging about it, about the whole experience. And all of a sudden they get an email from a woman who says, "My husband and I would like to have a baby for you." And they met the family, fell in love, got along, and that's where Roma came from. Right? Just like that, when we shift our consciousness, something else is possible. Now, did Ken and JD go through a moment of like, this could be another scam? Did they let it dictate what they were going to do and how they were going to move into the world? No, they went forward, listening, discerning, paying attention, not being blind, but also not letting fear and limiting thoughts and constrict what was possible in their life. It's a great story, isn't it? So what we'd want to be is open and real, and we want to work with reality, not against it. Work with it, not against it. And I love this example. How many sailors do I have out here? People who actually know anything about sailing, and they're still, and I know Kathleen and Art are watching remotely. So when the wind's at our back, sailing is a breeze, right? Just like, whoosh, there we go. But windward sailing is a whole other thing. So you go out onto the bay, and then you have to come back. And instead of the wind being at your back, the wind is blowing in your face. Anybody ever feel like that? And there is a way to navigate that, though, right? Where sailors tack, right? And they're creating the zigzag pattern so it's not as, we love the straight line, don't we? But the zigzag pattern is still building momentum. It's still moving us forward. It's a way to harness the wind that seems to be against us and make it work for us. Both of them will move us forward. They just require different skill sets from us. And that's what we're doing here, is building those skill sets. Being able to acknowledge, oh, the wind's coming. If we don't acknowledge the wind is coming at us, we're not going to make any headway, because we're not able to adapt and meet it and navigate it and begin to do something that will allow us to harness the power of that wind. That's what we're being invited to do in our life. That is what unapologetic manifestation is all about. Not sitting in the boat crying because the wind is coming in our face. Right? You can have your moment and cry, that's okay. But then we want to bring our tools online, because that's what we have available to us. So I summed this up. This is my version of the 5 steps, right? Of his 5 steps. Own your purpose. Don't be willy-nilly about it. Own your purpose. And if you don't know what it is, own the search and the journey and the exploration of your purpose. Does that make sense? Awaken possibility. That's about shifting consciousness. That's about doing the Byron Katie work. That's about like awaken the idea that there is possibility. So you're not locked in. You're not locked in by the circumstances of the world. That you know that you can begin to tack against the winds that seem to be working against you. Persist through action. Baby steps. Baby steps. Take a baby step. I love the tacking because it's about like just do something that supports momentum and then you can adjust. And that's the zigzag, right? It's not always going to be this super straight line. And be okay with the fact that as you're tacking, you might be like, oh, look how pretty that is. Let's go over there instead, right? Let it shift for you. Connection as catalyst, right? How we interact with each other, using collaboration, using each other's energy to be a catalyst to keep supporting us. That for me is what Unity in Action, what we're going to be doing over the next 3 or 4 or 6 months or a year or however long we need to do it, right? Is connection as catalyst. That none of us are in this alone. Take a really deep breath there. None of us is alone in whatever it is that we're trying to navigate. And then welcome the unexpected. Be like, that's challenging, but I'm gonna explore it, right? That's the only thing we have to ask ourselves. I honestly really believe that one of the reasons why that toddler teacher, which Cindy has been working so hard to manifest that toddler teacher, it's when we brought it to the community and the community got involved and the energy and the catalyst of the connections shifted something. And there this toddler teacher dropped into place. Unity in Action. This is our empowered, prayerful response to this time of change. This is us as a community bringing all of our skills, all of our spiritual tools, all of our capacities to know the highest, to live the highest, to live into our teachings, to live into our vision, to be the embodiment of our mission. We get to do this together. And I don't want to be anywhere else, honestly, right? I mean, this is how we together are empowered, not by one, but by many. The unity in our action. Yes. So let's take this into our time of meditation. Because there's a lot in here, yeah? So we're just going to take a breath. And just as we quiet, just inviting you to listen a little bit, right? Tune in, listen. And I invite you to listen for the resistance. Where's the resistance? Where's the story? Where's the, oh, I couldn't possibly? Because what we're stepping into is the realm of infinite possibility. There's so much more that we're all capable of sharing, of being, of giving. Because that's our strength. We're a community of giving. And so just sit with whatever that limiting idea might be, wherever it is in your life. And just ask yourself, is it true? Can I absolutely know that this is true? And then just check in as to how that idea, that resistance, that thought, that belief, how does it make you feel? What's happening in our consciousness as we carry that with us? And then let's just sit with, who would we be without that thought? What becomes possible for us if we're not buying in to that thought, that idea? Who would we be? And let's just rest there for a minute or two in the silence, enjoying who we would be if we were free of that limiting idea. And so as we go forth this week, the invitation is to just keep exploring. How could you turn this around? What's the opposite of that limiting idea? How can you stand more steadfast, not in the small idea of who you are, of who this world is, of what's possible? But how can you anchor yourself in the truth of who we are, with an open heart, with open hands, accessing all of the different ways that we process information, and just allowing that as we rest in the sweetness of life to open our hearts, open our options, open the way we take baby steps in the world. Opening our yes. I see us each going forth this week and the next, just with a willingness to shift, to grow, to allow something more, so that we may shine our light more fully, more brightly. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. So our affirmation for today is, I release limiting beliefs and open to the field of infinite possibilities. Let's know this together. I release limiting beliefs and open to the field of infinite possibilities. Let's stand up and say that one, right? Stretch out, like bring the body in, right? Okay, kind of shake out whatever we need to shake out. Right? All right, let's say it again. And maybe when we release, let's release. Right? Okay, do a little wiggle or something. And as we're opening, do something that says opening. Ready? Here we go. I release limiting beliefs and open to the field of infinite possibility. One more time. I release limiting beliefs and open to the field of infinite possibilities. And so it is. And I'm going to invite our fabulous musical guests to come on back up.
Thank you so much. My little mind was trying to figure out, well, where are the words? Where are the words to this song? It's like, well, it's a different message, the message. That was just delightful. Thank you so much. It's really joyous. Okay, back to business. Discussion circle, you pretty much know the deal with that. It's an opportunity to connect and reflect and share thoughts and ideas about today's circle with the one, the only, Reverend Deanne. Can we give her a round of applause? We love you, we appreciate you, and it just brings joy to my heart to know that you're feeling better. So we're very blessed for that. We love you and we appreciate you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Unity in action. Reverend Deanne also spoke about this. And also just a reminder, this is just a starter list of 4 different groups. But as we progress and grow and learn, there's going to be more groups that will be added. So it's going to be a spontaneous, what's the right word? A movement, yes. So we invite everyone to participate in this and share your gifts. Easter flower, volunteers are needed. We've been through this before. Discover your divinity, an affirmative prayer workshop. This is going to be Reverend Deanne and also Linda Martello Whitsitt. So you can register online, and you will get an early bird. Thank Q, discount. Today is the last day to register, so please take advantage of that. As you know, Reverend Dan is going to be going on a sabbatical. We're so happy for her. And we have several of our rock stars coming back, our favorites. We've got Dawson Creek. We've got Esther Nicholson. Dawson Creek, I was just reading about that on Facebook. Uh-oh, my bad. Dawson Church. Love it. Okay, moving on. Esther Nicholson, our one and only Al Gaspari, and then we have Karen Drucker with Deborah Winters. That's going to be fabulous. And then July 19th, we are having the ordination of Linda Anderson Henry. So excited about that. Now is the time for giving and receiving. The ushers are going to be coming around shortly. And of course, you know the ways to give, pretty self-explanatory. Spiritual connection card, you can put that right in the offertory basket. And let's do our offering affirmation. I am the power of abundance, giving and receiving gratefully. And will the ushers please come forward? And here we go with Amy D. and Dylan Vado.
Do 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 do. As around the sun the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's the cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always. As now can't reveal the mystery of tomorrow, but in passing we'll grow older every day. Just as all that's born is new, you know what I say is true, that I'll be loving you always, until the rainbow burns the stars out in the sky, until the ocean covers every mountain high, until the dolphins fly and parrots live at sea, until we dream of life and life becomes a dream. Did you know that true love asks for nothing? Her acceptance is the way we pay. Did you know that life has given love a guarantee to last you forever and another day? Just as time knew to move on since the beginning, and the seasons know exactly when to change. Just as kindness knows no shame, know through all our joy and pain, that I'll be loving you always. As today I know I'm living, but tomorrow could make me the past, but that I mustn't fear. For I know deep in my mind the love of me I've left behind, that I'll be loving you always, until the day is night and night becomes the day, until the season trees just up and fly away, until the day that 8 times 8 times 8 is 4, until the day that is the day there are no more. Always, I'll be loving you forever. Always, always. becomes a dream always. Always. Until the rainbow burns the stars out in the sky. Until the ocean covers every mountain high. Until the dolphins fly and parrots live at sea. Until we dream of life and life becomes a dream.
Thank you again. That was wonderful. Okay, we've got spiritual movie night coming up. Friday, April 17th. Do not come here. It's at Mojo Dojo, which is in Mill Valley. Don't come here. Celebration of life for Michael Stillwater. Oh, it's going to be a tribute and a chant wave concert in Mill Valley. And that was a unexpected passing, which to me just means live every day to the fullest. Community Social Justice Choir, next meeting is going to be April 26th, so please join us for that. Spread the word, tell your friends. Can we have the Unity Marin Prayer Chaplains please stand up? Popping this thing here. How may we pray with you? Everything is personal, private, and confidential. So thank you, chaplains, for your divine service. We love you and we appreciate you. Do we have any teens or children here today? Doesn't look like it. No.
If we could rise, and whether they're physically with us or not, we're holding the children of the world, holding the youth of our community, the youth of all of our families, the youth that we still are. Anybody in here sometimes feel like a little kid? And we're going to say this to ourselves and to all of them. You are the perfect expression of divine light. We love you exactly the way you are.
Let's all say the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And please join us for our community song.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful to each other. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Happy Sunday, everyone. I'll be outside. I'll be here at the door and out in the courtyard. And our musicians are here. Come talk to them.